Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today is Tuesday. So, my buddy Satoshi Sean's joining me on the other side of this. I had an amazing morning this morning. I had an interview for the Very Dow channel, which I'm honored to volunteer for and represent. Trey Cup joined me and we interviewed Nick Morgan from ICANN. They also filed an amicus in the SEC versus Ripple case, and that actually is coming out this evening. We'll be doing a premiere and we'll be in the live chat. And Reggie Middleton joined us. So he also had a few things to say about Coinbase, USDC, and how there are some parallels with shadow banking, I think that term was used. Anyway, I really would recommend that you guys join us tonight. It'll be 7 p.m. Central, which is 8 Eastern at the Very Dow YouTube channel. So join us in the live chat there for the premiere, and then you can watch it later and share it and put comments below. But if you want in on the action, on the live action with in the live chat, make sure to be there. 7 Central, 8 Eastern, and we'll see what is going on. I've got whatever gay 24 is. I don't know. I thought it was ye 24. Anyway, Sean's gonna fill me in on parts that I missed. We're sending information back and forth to each other today. So give us a like, share this video, and let's start over here on my channel. We'll finish up over on Satoshi Sean's channel, and let's share some truth today. Hi, Sean. Great to see you.
Hi, Lisa. It's great to see you too.
I forgot to upload the video that you created for me that has the Lisa and Sean. I think it's a typewriter.
Yeah, I sent you both with the typewriter one. You didn't like the typewriter one.
Did I not like the typewriter?
You said it was cheesy.
It's cheesy. What's the other one that you sent me?
The marquee.
The martini. Okay.
No, the marquee.
Oh, the marquee. Okay. Oh, where did you send me those?
It's really snooty.
Were they in Telegram?
Yeah, because that's where it's easier to download.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was just looking for it to play it, and then I was like, why?
Make a marquee joke, and you messed it up.
I messed it up. I'm so sorry.
The marquee. It's a snooty aristocrat thing.
Maybe I can load it while we're talking on Truth Tuesday, and we'll wrap up with that one. Yeah. So I thought we were, yeah, I was trying to, I had a busy day today, like I said, but we had, I did catch this whole, the Twitter webs was all abuzz about the Ye walkout. Now I kind of think it's staged just to get attention.
I don't know. I thought he was an idiot, and I never got why everyone said he's a genius. He's a musical genius, and hey, I even thought his music was kind of idiotic.
I do think that there were some legitimate concerns with so I guess he went on Timcast, which is this.
But now I think he might be because like it's one of those things where you look at something like this is dumb. This is actually going to hurt this cause. And in the end, you could see, oh man, they were like 5 moves ahead. They were thinking really, really outside the box. So maybe that's what he does. I don't know. But
okay. I'm not. Do you want to break it down for those that don't know what we're talking about?
He just got I think pushed back a little bit on the anti-Semitism stuff, which he did, and everyone's so sensitive to this kind of stuff nowadays. But he go watch some old movies, y'all. Go watch some old movies where like Blazing Saddles. Go watch Blazing Saddles, and then just chill out, man.
Well, I think he had a legitimate point in the interview on Timcast. Because he said, you know, so you want to say, oh, I would be good for the black vote, and you're labeling a culture the black vote, but then you want to call me anti-Semite when I talk about the Jews.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it's a valid point.
So, that's kind of
But validity really doesn't do well in politics, man.
calling people, you can't call one culture or group a bad, you can't identify a group by one name, or as a group, or identifying a group of people as, but I think it's the fact that he was saying that a group of people was targeting him. So I think I think what they were saying is that when you're saying a group of people are doing a bad thing, as in that one group of people are all bad because a few bad apples, instead of, identifying a culture.
Yeah. But I don't know if you've noticed this. I have, that it used to be okay to make fun of everyone and to talk. I mean, to legitimately talk.
Comedy used to. My husband and I were watching Red Fox the other night, which I've never watched in my life. I didn't even know he did stand up.
Yeah, you did some potty mouth stuff the other day, which literally shocked me.
I know. I'm sorry.
You shocked me. But yeah, Red Fox was one. I'm surprised that you would go to that level of old school.
So yeah. I love Eddie Murphy. That when I was in college, that was so funny to me. I love Eddie Murphy.
The gay stuff. Can you imagine the gay stuff?
Oh,
I own Raw digitally. And I was watching it.
Raw, Delirious.
My kids were like, "What the fuck did he say?" I was like, "Oh, the gay police."
Pull over.
And then he's just, I mean, the stuff he says, it does actually make you feel.
But they used to make fun of everybody in all cultures, and it wasn't personal, or you weren't supposed to take it personal, because they would make fun of themselves too.
Okay,
like
here's a perfect example.
Right?
If I watch Looney Tunes and there's a fat guy, and they have the Peter Griffin episode, Family Guy, where someone follows him around with a tuba and he's walking like, that's funny. Fat guys walk funny and they okay. But when Eddie Murphy talks about the honeymooners being gay, he's like, "Nom, come here, Nom, let me see that ass, Nom." That's making like a normal person Norm with his voice. He's now not normal because he's talking about gay stuff. So they're all super, super sensitive, and that's not okay to say. But it's funny, man, because you don't think of that as being gay, or it's like Mr. T being gay. Those were all hilarious, bits. Which now there's no way you could say. But the pendulum is swung completely the other way, because I think comedians are journalists are the protectors of free speech and truth. I think that comedians, and I never thought this as a child, but I've found this out, and I think we have proof of it now. Comedians were, this protectorate, because the pendulum is swung the other way. Whereas before, you could make fun of Mr. T for being gay. It was funny and it was okay, and we could all, laugh at it. Now, you're not allowed to make a joke about anything. You have to normalize something so much, where you have these, breakfasts with drag queens and story time. And there's a video, I think it's on Blaze, where there's the CNN guy talking about, "Oh, these people are so angry and this is not hypersexualized," and then it cuts to scenes from it where there's this little 3-year-old little girl looking, and this drag queen's pulling his skirt up and flapping his bulge in her face. A few, 4 or 5 different, that happens with different kids at the brunch with different drag queens. And then they cut back to the guy saying, "Yeah, it's these people that go and they have breakfast at a Denny's, and they They read a fairy tale, and that's it. So they can see this is a drag queen. It's a normal person. Cut to the kid getting grinded in his face with his parents, ha ha ha, clapping.
Well, and that's the thing is where like it's one thing when there's two consenting adults doing things and whatever, and that's the extreme is that okay, comedy, two consenting adults, all of a sudden you're violating children and the Balenciaga thing. And somebody posted a comment and said, hey, photographers, next time you go into a shoot and there are children with BDSM things laying on a couch, walk out. And I was like, no, call the fucking police.
True.
No.
Yeah.
No, don't walk out. Grab that child and call the police.
That would have been much.
Run out of there screaming. Get your concealed carry and hold and call 911 and put that child behind you. That's what you do. Like, what is wrong with
people? You would get in trouble that way, but
I don't care if I get in trouble.
I don't know. I don't know if that would even be better, Lisa. What if someone did that? What if somebody walked in, called child protective, called the police, powers that be, shut it down, and then it didn't happen? So then it's still going on behind the doors. So it was never exposed. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, then
what I was talking about with the comedians, though,
then it goes into court.
That they've, I don't think it would go to court. Did Epstein, did the worst ever possible thing go to court? No. So I don't think a Valencia issue.
Elaine did.
And look at all that's happened because of that.
Well.
And that is the second time. They already got him, and it wasn't made public enough.
Go watch Whitney Webb. Everyone tonight, your homework.
And they let him go. Remember, they already had Epstein before.
I know, but
so
go watch
just a regular
Whitney
person.
Webb.
I don't know.
Tonight.
I don't know if it would have been
One
better to stop it or better to have it exposed. Because now everybody is. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Everybody knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was talking about comedians and how like they were kind of they protected us from having this craziness take root and forcing humans to laugh at stuff. I was watching a stream with a donut operator, which seems like a really nice guy, and he was doing like a breakdown of the crazy police chase, and he was laughing because this guy was like insane. And somebody in his chat's like, why are you laughing? This person stole the car, and it's all serious. He goes, dude, I've been a cop, blah, blah, blah. If I can't laugh at like dark stuff, then I would go crazy. And I think that's like comedians, they were like journalists and protected society from that, from being pussified, is a word, I guess, but also, free speech and all. And now if you look at like the biggest champions of free speech, it is like Joe Rogan, Jim Brewer, even Bill Maher. They're all starting podcasts and they're all talking truth. Bill Maher is just talking like common sense. It's very weird for this ultra, right-wing liberal person to be talking common sense.
The other thing they're doing though is leaking out these truths through these comedians, like the Russell Brand thing, and right now, they have a Joe Rogan comedian like set or whatever. I don't know what gig or whatever, stand up on Netflix or Prime or something, but it's like it's maybe 2 years old. I don't know. It's back when Kanye was still married to Kim, because he's talking about I can't remember what he says. He's like, no, I think that he starts talking about something like everybody's like, no, everything's okay. And then he's like talking about, oh, dang it. Anyway, basically he calls the Kardashians like demons. And he's like, I mean, look what they did to Bruce Jenner, an Olympic athlete, the epitome of male, machismo in the 70s and 80s. I know. That's why I was thinking of you when I was watching this. And he crawls up on this like stool and he's like, they were demons leaning over Bruce at night, sucking his essence out, and they turned him into a girl. And he's not a pretty girl. he's an ugly dude in a dress, you know, and he's like, he goes, and he goes, and you're not, I'm not being homophobic. He goes, I would be an ugly girl too. I look like 3 thumbs or something like that. Or I don't know. He said something like that. And then it was hilarious, but it's a couple years old, but it's, when you watch it now, he's saying some pretty profound stuff, but he's talking about like demon possession. And then and when you look at like they're talking about like Kim's response to this Balenciaga thing, that like, okay, so she had to divorce Kanye for wearing a MAGA hat, but they call her out, Eliza Blue, which is a big advocate for child trafficking and different things. She's really an advocate for children and missing children and all this. And she was one of the people that several people were calling Kim Kardashian out for, you know, why haven't you responded? And she was like, well, I want to give them some time. I want to give them some time to, you know, see what they have to say about, you know, what their response is. She never really went hard on them about it. She still has not made a statement or held Balenciaga accountable for this blatant,
well, I think that's the
disgusting act.
I think that's the next level. If you remember a few years ago,
well, being complicit,
everything's shaming. They brought up kink shaming,
right? Like, but being complicit is now, you know, what is it? What's that saying? A few good men go silent, or something like that. Is all they have to do, you know, for
all evil needs for good men to do nothing.
Yes,
yeah. But I think this is the next level in that. I think we're moving towards, you know, having it normalized, and the first part of it is, oh, it's just fantasy.
I think that's already happened, and we're coming out of that.
No, I think we're at this level now where, oh, we're gonna give them time to talk, and then I think the biggest part will be, hey man, it's not real. These kids aren't, like, you know, really strapped up and being beaten or what, you know, they're not really involved in S&M. It's just a picture. It's not real. It's just fantasy. Like, I remember when I was a kid and they arrested this guy. It wasn't real. It was a TV show. And I think it was Monk or something. I don't know. But this guy planned out like this perfect murder, how to kill his wife, because his wife was getting on his nerves so bad. And he really hated her. And they found it and they arrested him. And they're like, hey, we stopped you from killing your wife. It's like, no, it was just a fantasy. I would like read it, and I knew I could do it, and it helped me to deal with, you know, how terrible she was. And it was they were like, yeah, he didn't really do anything. If you did this as like a book, and it was like a murder book, it would be fine. But because it was his wife, and he wrote it in there like that, you know, so it was like this weird thing. And I think that's where they're trying to push that to where, hey, it's okay. It's okay if it's animated. You can have child porn like crazy if it's drawn, even if it's hyper realistic drawn, even if it's 3D made. You know, so I think that's what they're pushing.
I'll tell you why that's not.
And it's okay.
I'll tell you why that's not. Because this is all being tied together. And that's where I've been watching these videos with Whitney Webb. She has all of this documentation that it's in the public. This is not WikiLeaks. This is not CIA or White Hat or any of that kind of stuff. This is all public documents that links everything together with court. This is linking Epstein and court cases and the government, the Democrats and the Republicans, the FTX thing, Alameda. Alameda is funded with mostly Tether.
So you're getting like really, really kind of way off on the tangents on it, though.
No. This is not a tangent.
When you're talking about banks and stuff, I'm talking about this one thing.
Tether, which was created by Brock Pierce,
and
this guy is.
We're talking about kids now. just the
I
kid stuff.
am too. And
I don't know about you,
this
but
is all going to be exposed.
I saw a 12-year-old girl's vagina,
Oh no.
maybe younger, and an adult paid to have sex with her to take her virginity. And then I saw that same girl's boobs when she was like 14, and that was on the big screen. It
What
wasn't.
are
I
you
wasn't allowed to see it.
talking about?
I watched it in the rec center, but I was like 12 maybe. Brooke Shields, baby doll. Remember
Oh,
that? Remember that?
no. I mean, I never saw it,
That was like the
but
70s. She showed her
mhm.
full everything,
I
and
did
if the
see
carriage
interviews with her mother, like
should have been
on the
arrested.
stage with her. Her mother should have been protecting her, and her
Should have been
mother was
arrested. Yeah,
basically like pimping her out.
she
Yeah,
paid a like 10 or 12-year-old prostitute
yeah.
who was selling off her
But
virginity.
Playboy was a CIA honeypot back then. And that's where like this whole one
Did you not
nation
see the
under
Blue Lagoon? Did
blackmail.
you not see the Blue Lagoon as a girl growing up?
No. And my mother would have never let me watch that.
Well, she showed her boobs in that. She was like 14. So
No.
it's like it's
Mm-mm.
always been there, being pushed, but it's been subtle. And now I think we're just getting to the point where it's like super normalized.
So in
And
this
that's what they're trying.
video, which I shared on my Patreon, you can, this is an article in the Revolver .com, and it's got Darren Beatty, and then they did another video, but he's talking about, and he brings up Brock Pierce. He's talking about the incident in Spain with a toddler, and sex toys and the police and other things. He's brings up how then Tether is, I mean, he's got all of this documentation with the FTX is involved. He's got, anyway, you guys need to go watch this. You need to read the
I'm a firm believer
document.
that nothing is going to fix this except we both
Well,
agree
I
on
do.
this. Well, we both agree that
No.
only we the people are going to fix it.
Yes, we the people are going to fix it because it's going to be all exposed, and
I don't think
the light. Yes, I do.
Everyone knows. Everyone that posts Epstein didn't kill himself knows everything. That's their declaration. I know how shit is. I understand.
But
Here's
the majority of we the people, they don't believe it. I mean, who was it that they were? Oh, I think it was even Glenn Beck said, well, I don't believe in. Oh, it was Glenn Beck. He was interviewing Whitney Webb, and he said, well, I don't believe in Pizzagate. So they can't sit there and say that people know about it and they believe in it when they don't, and it's right in their face.
Because you're talking about Pizzagate, which is like the most fringe thing there is. But to say that he doesn't believe that Epstein didn't kill himself, that he doesn't believe that there's a shadow government, that he doesn't believe there's strings being pulled behind the scenes, that he doesn't believe there's like real evil being done. Of course, Beck does. He says that all the time. So
here they're talking about
those people in power aren't going to fix shit, even if it's exposed.
No, I don't
We're
think
going to give them time to have their side of the story.
There's no time. The time has run up because what's happened
a joke
here
about Kardashian. That's what people are going to say, and that's what's happening. So that's what's going to happen until people rise up and stop it themselves.
Right.
Not trust in the justice system.
Yeah.
Not trust in the machine to fix it. People have to fix it themselves. I believe that. I believe nothing's going to happen until people fix it themselves.
Right.
There's you sent it to me. That guy that the city councilor or whatever forced him to verify the election, this last one. They said, if you don't, we're going to arrest you. And he said, this is not the way that our founders envisioned.
That was in Arizona. But then did you see what happened in Pennsylvania?
Well, hold on.
Last night.
He said, they're going to force me to arrest me, blah, blah, blah. He should have got arrested, man, personally. Yeah. If he would have stood up. Now, that's people rising up. But I think there still is one county where the whole county in Arizona will not certify the election. They're like, no, we have questions that need to be answered first. And they're like, no, you just certify it. And they're like, no. And the whole county is. Now, if that starts to happen, if it
So
goes from
that
counties,
is what happened in Pennsylvania.
if it goes from counties to states, once it's in the states, it's done. And the
Yeah.
only state that does that shit is Texas. It's only one state. If Florida and one other, if there's three, there's a
Oh, is
trinity.
that it? Okay.
If there's a trinity where states stand up and say, "Oh no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to enforce that law."
Then does that trigger the military?
That would force their hand.
Okay. I wondered what the trigger was.
Because you can.
Because they're starting to see that in Brazil now, the military,
Yeah.
and there is a Supreme Court case that's also going on that a lot of people are talking about that we've been sharing information on Patreon about as well.
And that actually brings something up I wanted to ask you about. Have you heard about the woke hotline for the military?
No.
That Rubio and they did in Florida government set it up because people were complaining about the wokeness in the military, and the head of the military, head civilian person, said, "I don't know what you're talking about. There is no woke military. There's nothing like that. Blah blah blah." So I think Rubio, and anyway, I know Florida set up this hotline for military people to call in, make a statement, they take their information, they wouldn't release it. So they're inundated with so many reports of how the military is pushing a woke agenda. Now here's the thing. They've already got the hierarchy. Our U.S. military is a piece of shit when it comes to the leadership. Terrible. They're terrible. They allowed Afghanistan to happen. That's it. They all should be hung. My opinion. They are evil, terrible people that have turned their back on the military and our country. Anyone who didn't resign and denounce what happened, you're a piece of shit. You should have at least your pension taken away, so your family is fucked, and they should know what a piece of shit you are, and you should be hung from the gallows as a traitor, at least to the military and to this country. So the hierarchy of the military is done, but that doesn't matter. If there is a shit hit the fan moment, the military are still regular American people who took an oath to the Constitution. But just like the colleges in the past decade, you can change their way of thinking. You can change their minds to where if that shit hit the fan moment comes in 3 years or 5 years, they will not. They will obey orders and they will do as they're told, no matter how bad those orders are. If you learn from history, you know that's true. The first thing you have to do is change their minds. And then they'll do whatever the hell you want them to do. And that's what they're doing. And that is what they're saying they're not doing. And everybody says, oh, if it goes down to it and there's a boogaloo, military's not going to do this. They will. They will if they're trained to do that and their minds have been changed.
Like, I want to disagree with you, but after working with the veterans with Warriors for Freedom, like I meet them, and when I talk with them privately and not professionally, they are patriots. They have flags, and why they got into the military is all this patriotic and very much like-minded things, freedom and the flag and America and their families and whatever. But then when I start talking to them about political issues, they're like, well, no, we can't talk about that. If I'm wearing my uniform, I have to do whatever I'm ordered to do, and I can't have an opinion about Trump versus this or that, and I have to follow orders and whatever. And so that is a training, because when you're in war, if your commanding officer says, get down, you just get down, because
kill
you can't say, that hurt my feelings.
Or kill
You're
that
dead.
kid. Shoot that kid.
Yes.
Like,
you don't get to have an opinion about it.
And then
you just do what you're told.
You don't, and then you see, and then it blows up. because he
Right.
had like 5 grenades and
But
none
that's
of
also
your friends are
why
dead.
then they aren't held accountable for what they are ordered to do because they don't have an opinion about it. They're just doing what they're
That's why it's
ordered to
so
do.
evil that they've
It
ruined the top of the military, that they've ruined
right.
those commanders.
Because there should that is where the accountability
Right,
is
and
because
it's
that
and
is where
yeah,
the decisions are made. Yeah.
and now they're terrible. Hey, public awakenings here.
Hey, TPA.
Um, so yeah, I think it's very, very important to expose that and to
Mhm.
I mean, the problem is that they have there's a lot less people going into the military because there's a certain type of people that go into the military, but still, there's a lot of shitty people that go in the military. I used to there's a lot. I mean, they're terrible people. It used to be you could go to jail or you join the military. So there was tons of crappy people in the military. I know I've grown up around the military. Um, but when you get to a certain rank, usually a certain level, it's a different kind of person. That's why the laws in the military are insane. If you cheat on your wife, you can go to prison. You can go to jail.
I think that's a pretty good idea.
Because but the thinking is, you took an oath to the country. You took an oath to the Constitution. And you took an oath to this person. You broke an oath, and that's something that people hate about me. I think all promises are promises. It doesn't matter. Like people get really pissed because I'll get extremely butthurt if you promise me you're going to do something
If
and
you
then you
don't
don't do
keep
it.
your word.
It's like, dude, if we were married and you went and had sex with someone else, to me, it's like the same thing. They're like, you're absolutely insane. And I'm like, no, you didn't have to promise. I said, you did. When you
Mhm.
made the promise, you like brought it to a whole nother level. Um, like
No, I'm the same
my
way. I
cousin broke a
can't.
promise to me because she wouldn't try uh, pate that I made. And I told her, don't promise you're gonna taste this when I make it. She goes, no, I'm gonna taste it. I know you really want me to, and you work hard on it, and I'm actually gonna taste it. I'm like, you don't have to eat much, but you have to you can touch your finger and then lick it. You can do a
Yeah.
symbolic
Just
thing.
don't bother lying to me.
We opened
Don't.
it up. Her husband, my nephew, started going at it. She like smelled it. She's like, nope. I'm like, you have to do something. You have to lick the lid. You have to do something,
Lick the lid.
or else I'm good. I said, if you weren't my cousin, I wouldn't talk to you anymore.
Right.
Wouldn't be your
You're
friend.
gonna break my heart.
I
Yeah.
said, this is a serious. I told you didn't have to make a promise. Okay, and then I was pissed, and then she's like, "You're really mad?" I'm like, "Yeah." And everybody was mad at me. They're like, "Just because you won't." I said, "No, it's not because you wouldn't taste it. I
Mhm.
don't care that you won't taste my pate. It's that you broke a promise, and nobody understood it. Still, they
I
think I'm an asshole.
understand.
They don't get
Yeah.
it."
No, I understand for sure. No, I've lived with a compulsive liar for, 20 years. I mean, the irony and my kids now, we've had to really help my youngest because it's really hard for a child, to live with a compulsive liar because, especially with being a parent, because it's confusing to a kid, like well, what they said, but it never happens. And then, you know, it's like, well, am I wrong? Or why is this? It's really a manipulative thing for somebody to lie to you and, hold things over your head and all that.
Yeah,
And so the older kids have helped, and just watch somebody's actions, not their words at
I
that
have a
point,
friend of mine that we haven't talked for so long since last Christmas because he's an asshole and he's a huge piece of shit. I've been friends with him since I was like 13. Kids hate him. Robert did not, but it was probably part of the reason why Robert died. Um, anyway, he came over last Christmas, drunk as shit, and
Mm,
I built this, this like playhouse out front that was for my grandson, and he like poured beer on it and tossed empty bottles, which was very expensive beer. It was like $7 a bottle. In it, so I was like, dude, you can't come over here when you're drunk anymore. Period. Done.
yeah, that's terrible.
And then I was like, if you're not drunk, you can come over. But it made me think about this. And his family is a lot of liars and drug addicts and stuff. But he is super bad alcoholic. And I thought about, like, there's crazy lies that certain people that, he knows what we know have made up. Create a whole new person on Facebook and have a backstory and then use it to like spy on someone. And so they create a person and all this, and they like have conversations and big lies. But I thought he lies more than anyone I know, because he would always say, "Oh no, I'm not drunk," or "Have you been drinking?" "Oh, I had a couple beers or a couple shots," which couple means two.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, just those two things alone, it's like thousands and thousands of
Right.
lies.
Right.
And I was like, I thought about it. I was like, he lies more than anyone else that I know. I mean, I know people that tell much bigger lies, but as far as sheer numbers,
Well, I always told my kids growing up that, like, when you lie, you make yourself be alone, because you have to continue to keep putting lies in between you and the people that you care about to keep the lie
unless
alive,
it's a conspiracy, then it's, a couple people are in on a lie. It's inspiring.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you would be able to like keep that going, but my biological dad was the same way. Not my papa that I love, but my biological dad, he would lie and then have to keep lying, and then if once you caught them in the lie, then they get angry,
Yeah.
And that's the way then they would regain control, was to
Well,
be the biggest bully in the
that's
room.
what started. He's a huge bully.
And then
He's a
it's
huge bully.
dangerous for everyone around,
He's
because
a
then
huge
they
bully, and
have
I
to
realized
destroy you to keep the lie alive,
I have
you know.
realized my part in creating it. And I have a lot of guilt about Tony dying, because he, he had not a lot of like male role models growing up. That Scott was his main role model, and none of there's three boys, Scott, Tony, and Joey, and a bunch of girls and their family. And Scott, he lived in the next street, and his mom was a lesbian in the early 80s, which was not allowed. I didn't know that. I remember we're skipping school over there, and they have a 3-bedroom house, like our house. His sisters are in one room, he has a room. And then his mom and her roommate were in this other room. I didn't think of it, that it was a roommate. And I was like, "Oh, that's your mom in Ellie's room?" He's like, "Yeah, man, she's not a fucking lesbian." I'm like, "What?"
You're like,
I didn't know that was really a real thing. And I thought they were
oh,
all just attractive women in magazines at that time. So I know, but they were very mean to him. Like,
oh,
he,
mm,
his, and it's weird how he talks about how he like loves his mom's ex-girlfriend. But she was there. They wouldn't let him in the house. And when he got off school, he had to sit on the porch where his sisters could come in. They had to lock the door, and then he would come over to my house, um, and eat because he didn't have any food. Um, and he still talks about her with like a reverence, like he would I guess an abusive parent. Um,
mm-hmm. I
but
think that's
anyway,
common.
he's a terrible person when it came to females. Hates women. I mean, hates women. Never been had a real serious relationship. But he did have a kid who the mother, and he gave up the rights to the kid when he was young and went to join the military. So he reconnected with her, and she was a sweet, normal girl. But her mother's messed up in the head, obviously, because she was with him, and has usually went with abusive, alcoholic people. So she comes in and says, "This is your biological dad." And he's like, "I want a relationship with you. I love you." And then she's like, "Okay, but I don't want you to drink." And he was like, "Okay, I won't drink." And they started to have a relationship. And he said he promised her he wouldn't drink when she was over there, like for the weekend or whatever. And he promised her. They went out to eat, and in the parking lot at a car, like him and someone had like some whiskey, And he was like, it's just a couple shots. She could smell it, and she could tell. She's not an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. Everyone knows he's drunk. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I stopped. That was one thing I started. It was about a year before Tony died. I gave up. I'm like, I'm not lying anymore for you. I'm not accepting your lies.
Right.
Every time he'd say, oh, no, I'm just had a couple. I was like, oh, you're a liar. You're lying to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did
Don't
some
play
really
along in the moment just to have peace. Yeah.
He did some really terrible things.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, no, you pushed me over the edge. I was like, I wouldn't be friends with you. I told him, I was like, my friend is dead and you're a different person because I wouldn't be friends with you. The person that I was friends with he wouldn't do the things that you do. But anyway, everyone had this just shit role model. So all three of the boys never had a really good relationship with a woman. And I feel bad that I wasn't around more to be, more of an example to them. But they're, me and him were kind of estranged. He went off to the military, and then we didn't, hook back up till after I was divorced and everything. And then it was just this weird lifestyle that I was not used to.
Yeah, sounds very unhealthy.
I don't know. We were talking about lying, but we should jump over to my channel because.
Yeah, we can jump over to your channel and talk some more.
And get going. I love you. Love you guys.
Love you too. Love you guys in the chat. We'll go over there and then make sure to join us on the Very Dow channel tonight at 7 Central and 8 Eastern. Reggie's got some real interesting comments about the Coinbase lawsuit and his evaluation of their business model. And I also posted a tweet. I'm going to play that for you guys really quick before we go over there. There is an announcement that Coinbase is removing 4 different coins. Hold on, let me play that for you guys really quick before we go. Jeff, our friend, Litecoin leader, put out a video. Wait, just one sec. I'll play this for you guys before we go over there. And we need to see our buddy Jeff anyway and get an update from him.
I couldn't make your video today, but I didn't have enough time. There's just too much going on. But I just got a piece of breaking news. It's a busy day, but I want to get this news out to you while I heard it. So the news is that Coinbase is at it again. They're doing stuff that's kind of surprising. And they made an announcement that they are not going to be supporting 4 new coins or 4 coins that have long been established. So Coinbase, the wallet, I have to think about why this might be. It's pure speculation at this point. The announcement is that Coinbase is not supporting 4 major tokens, and here they are. Bitcoin Cash is one. Ethereum Classic is another, and that dates back to pre-split or pre-fork for Ethereum. So that goes ways back too. Bitcoin Cash goes back to, I'd say 2017 or so, right before the Bitcoin's major peak of 20 grand, right at that point, because that's when they split and they gave out those coins. So Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, and 2 that are very well related to each other, XRP, which we kind of knew about, and XLM. So not only are the wallets are not going to support those as of December 5th. December 5th is the date, so it's coming up quick. That's why I want to get this out to you. But it's happening right away for those 4 coins. Again, Bitcoin Cash, XRP, XLM, and Ethereum Classic. Now, my speculation would be that there's going to be some kind of ruling or something with the SEC, either for Coinbase or for XRP/XLM, because they're very close and very similar. I'm not sure why Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum Classic would be. That's interesting too. I know they're involved in the grayscale a lot, but hey, it's pure speculation right now. The important thing where I want to tell you is that these 4 coins are going to be leaving Coinbase, and you need to move them. They're still be accessible through the blockchain, which means you have to do the seed word thing, which would destroy your wallet. So it's much easier now to just move those coins if you have them on Coinbase, which you shouldn't. But if you've got them on Coinbase and you want to, you've had them in your wallet for whatever reason, move all your Bitcoin Cash, move all your Ethereum Classic, move your XRP, and move to XLM to or Lumens to a long-standing wallet that has good support for these. Right away, I think that you have Exodus. Exodus is a strong wallet you can use right away. Not for
Oops. Whoops, whoops, whoops.
And if you're getting a new phone for Christmas, there's a good use for your old phone. So just wipe it, nuke it, follow the directions on the video on my website. But again, the news: Coinbase, XRP and XLM gone. Bitcoin Cash, which is amazing, and Ethereum Classic. All four of those will be gone as of December 5th. Only accessible through like the seed words or your passphrase, and you don't want to have to do that. So it's much easier to know about it now and just go ahead and move them to another wallet and just get them off the exchanges anyway, guys. You should know better. Anyway, all right. I got to run, but I want to get this out there, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, so he said go to litecoinleader.com for instructions on how to move those to a wallet. If you guys need some help with that, check out my friend's website. And he is a great guy and can help you with any of those. So I'm heading over to Sean's channel right now. Hopefully you guys will join us over there on YouTube. Satoshi Sean. See you there.